Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal. Welcome back to another weight loss video. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Obese Redditors who lost the weight. What surprised you the most? I get so cold now. I can't get away with just a sweatshirt in the winter. I need a long sleeve underneath a sweater, underneath my big coat, before I even feel a little bit warm. I finally understand why people wear so many layers. I don't know if you call each one surprising on their own, but in total, they combined to a massive quality of life improvement. I slept better, breathed better, my mood improved, and my pain lessened. My knees stopped hurting, I could actually get up from sitting on the floor without rolling on my side, and I could just stand. The depression went away, anxiety and social phobias went away, muscle cramps in my upper back went away. I stopped wearing through the crotches and underarms of all my clothing in short order, and lost the chafing that went along with that. I can now withstand bumps without bruising so much, small scratches and mosquito bites didn't bleed for friggin' ever, and I catch a cold every once in a few years instead of twice a year. Perhaps the biggest surprise was the amount of pain I suddenly wasn't in just from moving around. That's the best. The before and after photos for the most part. You don't realize how fat you actually are until you lose weight and look 10 times better. I was morbidly obese through the entirety of my childhood and adolescence, and then lost about 100 pounds when I was 18, 19 now and keeping it off. I think the most surprising thing was just how different I looked. Not just skinny, but different. It's like there was a whole other person hidden under there, and I had literally never seen her before. I used to want to throw up being anywhere near a mirror or a camera or a scale. Now I'm like a little Magpie, lol. I can't stop looking at my reflection. I love being in pictures and videos. I'll stand and talk to myself in the bathroom mirror for half an hour. Also, fashion. I love having my own sense of style now. I used to think I don't care about clothes or how I looked, but I realized in retrospect, it was just hopelessness. I knew I wouldn't like how I looked and what I wore regardless, so why bother? I now love clothes. I have a fun and unique style, and I feel so much more in touch with who I am and how I present myself. Highly recommend it. That winters have become like temporary apocalypses where I need to double up on literally everything lest I freeze to death. My first winter skinny, I had to wear 2 pairs of socks on my feet or else I would be numb in the morning. Also went from lack of anxiety to more anxiety from being noticed more. No bueno. I lost 80 pounds last year, and 2 things really stuck out. The first was realizing my thighs no longer touched. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why my legs felt so weird all the time. They were cold and gangly, like they weren't quite sure what to do sometimes. It finally hit me. I was learning how to walk all over again since my thighs weren't constantly compressed together. It threw off my entire world. Second, I work in a healthcare field and people take me so much more seriously now. Even though I educate on postpartum health, mostly chest feeding, mental health support, attachment, etc., there's an enormous difference in how seriously I'm taken compared to before the weight loss. There's a very real bias against overweight folks, and it was weird to have it blatantly played out before me. I lost 140 pounds. The biggest surprise was finding that I wasn't fat because I was lazy. I've been overweight for most of my life, and I'd always felt like a moral failing. I was a lazy person, so therefore I was fat. Having lost the equivalent of a person, I now realize that being that fat makes you lazy. It hurts to walk, to stand, to live. No wonder all I wanted to do was sit down and sleep. At the end of the day of work, I was exhausted. Imagine going through your life carrying around another person. It doesn't take much to wear a person out. And it's a vicious circle. You don't want to move because it hurts, and so you get fatter and fatter. It was only since I lost all this weight that I realized that I'm not a bad person. I'm not a lazy person. Being lazy didn't make me fat. I was lazy because I was fat. I went from morbidly obese to almost underweight. I always thought my life would be perfect and all my social problems would be solved if I could just lose the weight. I was wrong. So wrong. I also thought that I love all the positive attention about my looks, but it really just makes me super anxious. It also kind of angers me how much better I'm treated now that I'm considered hot. Fat people really do get treated like dirt. I still see a fat person in the mirror. I don't think of myself as thin, and it feels weird when I fit into smaller spaces or people call me little. My clothes are always way too big because I still reach for clothes that hide my body, and because I have absolutely no idea what I look like. I've lost 75 pounds so far. I've been actively dating, and on my dating app profiles, I keep a fairly up-to-date body shot. I realized I hadn't taken one in a while since losing this weight. I have about 100 pounds to go, and I put on the same outfit as my current body shot. And I just stood there gawking at myself because I didn't even look like the same person in that dress. It's baggy and looks inappropriate to even wear now. I just sat at the end of my bed staring at the side-by-side I created. So I'd say the biggest surprise was the fact that I didn't even notice the physical size difference. I'd been so head down focused on healthy habits and my eating that the actual loss of mass hadn't occurred to me. 1. How tough it is to see yourself in the same way that others now do. I always had the feeling that I'm much larger than I currently am. 2. How much bigger my banana got. Lost about 108 pounds, and it made a big difference. I've lost over 20 kilograms in just half a year by just being strict to myself and also never eating more than 1,600 calories a day. Plus, I went outside walking a lot more. Now that I've achieved my dream body, I feel so much better. When I wake up and look into the mirror, I see a hot man instead of the fat guy, and this lifts your confidence up to the clouds. It has one annoying thing though. My family and friends really annoy me by keep asking me how I could lose so much weight, even though I've told them everything over and over again. I'm sure this comment will get buried, but I hope someone sees it. The biggest surprise was how easily it comes back. I've lost 100 plus pounds twice, but I never fixed what was wrong in my head, so I'm back to square one again, and probably incredibly closer to dying of a heart attack because of it. Don't get complacent. You have a lifetime of bad habits to overcome. Get a therapist. Figure out why you self-medicate. Don't assume successful weight loss is permanent. Please do what you can to take care of your mind. No matter how invincible you feel after losing weight, you aren't far from sinking back into that prison. Fix your mind. That's the only chance you have to make real, permanent change. Your looks get you a more positive reception from the public. You have more energy, you have more confidence, lower blood pressure, less stress due to the exercise that leads to weight loss. I lost weight once. I was in the best shape of my life at the time. I went running every day, had all the energy in the world, performed better at work, everything that I had not experienced for a while. Then one day, some people I know said I looked bad, as in I had lost so much weight that I looked pale and sickly. Looking back and looking at pictures, I was 100% okay, as I was eating healthy with lots of exercise. But at the time, it didn't matter. That hurt so bad that I didn't exercise for 2 or 3 days. After that, I started eating worse and worse, until 6 months later, I had gained 55 pounds. Weight is like financial debt. It's so easy to rack up the weight or debt, and it's amazingly difficult to get it off. Fast forward a few more years, and I was up 80 pounds from my low. Not really a lot of support from loved ones, as if it was like a pain in the butt for me to devote my time to trying to shed the weight by exercising. So, nothing really changed. Then, one day, I said, to hell with it. I need to lose weight. So, I started exercising like a mother, treadmilling, can't really run at the moment, knees can't handle fat loads very well, and watching what I eat. I'm down around 18 pounds in about a month and a half, but I'm slowly getting there and building a lot of leg muscle in the meantime, which hurts the weight loss itself, but not the look of my body. Sorry for the backstory, but it brought back bad memories of days past. I'm 75 pounds down at the moment. What's most surprised me? I don't know who I am anymore. I used to be quote-unquote the fat one in all my social circles. When I met someone new, I knew my weight was the first, second, and third thing that they noticed. And I was fine with that. I had adjusted and there was a comfort level with that knowledge. I never had to wonder what someone thought of me. I knew they'd see me as a fat guy first and foremost. Now, I don't know what the frig they're thinking about when they meet me, and it makes me very uncomfortable. I'm more anxious about meeting new people now than I was before. I think it's one of the reasons people gain weight back again. Being fat was a major part of their identity, and now, who am I? I lost 30 pounds 2 times in 3 months each, 245 to 215, and then 225 to 195. And what would happen is that I'd get to the end of the program, start feeling better about myself, want to start going out more and hanging out with people, which almost always involved eating out, and since my exercise routine had gone to crap, I'd start putting the weight back on. The surprisingly worst part is realizing that as far as I'd come, I was still an unbelievably far distance away from hitting my actual healthy weight, 165 pounds. So far that it seemed insurmountable, which helped feed back in with the aforementioned negative habits creeping back in. Now I'm just chilling in the 240 to 250 range with no motivation to do anything about it. How much my weight defined me to some quote-unquote friends. I actually had a so-called friend tell me I wasn't allowed to lose weight because then someone else would be the fat friend, and I was being selfish putting that on someone else. After all, I'd always been the fat one, so I should be used to it. And the worst part was, the rest of my so-called friend group at the time agreed with her. I dropped that toxic group. So in total, I lost about 1,000 pounds, most of it dead awful weight. Physically, I've lost about 100 pounds. Still a ways to go to get to a healthy weight, but I have a much better support system these days. And that brings us to the featured Narwhal of the Day, where we feature someone from our subreddit. The link is in the description below. Today's featured Narwhal says, almost a year postpartum and finally seeing results. I'm down 42 pounds. The first 30 to 35 seemed to come off pretty easily, then I plateaued. But I'm happy to say I've lost over 12 pounds since January. No one has really seemed to notice, which has been pretty discouraging, but I'm still going strong. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure our community notices, and congratulations, as long as it's healthy weight loss, as I always say. As always, in the disclaimer, please see a doctor for any weight loss plans. Just to be safe, see a doctor first. But otherwise, thank you for watching until the end of this video. I appreciate it. And until next time, have a good one, Narwhals.